What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So, I wanted to come through for a quick moment and talk with you guys about the R. Kelly verdict. The verdict in the R. Kelly trial that's been going on for a minute, been going on recently. And just present the question for one. Is the verdict in the R. Kelly trial a win or a loss for the community? And as well, is it a loss for the black man's public image? Right. Ultimately, I feel like the R. Kelly verdict is a win for the community. Um, One, because justice has been served for R. Kelly's victims, and I think for some people they may not see R. Kelly victims as being victims because a lot of time, like the majority of his victims, as far as I know, were black girls. There was at least one black boy that came up during the trial, came up in entertainment news saying that he was a victim as well. But majority of his victims were black girls. And I think that we as a community, unfortunately, and I think honestly, society as a whole as well, see black girls and also black women as being less worthy of protection, less deserving of protection and advocacy. You know, because had R. Kelly's victims been young white girls, this would have been done years ago. Like this would have been all this, trial and tribulation. This all would have been done years ago. Um, but we know how things go when the victims are black girls, and also when the alleged victimizer is a black man. It's like in the community, you know how it goes, where it's like, well, those young girls, they knew what was up. They was being fast. What about their parents? What about the people in our killer camp? And I will say about the parents, yeah, we can get at the parents too. And we can get at the people in R. Kelly's camp who was also aware of this stuff going on, but didn't intervene in any way. Yes, we can definitely get at those people. But let's not try and use that as a way to divert attention and responsibility and accountability off of R. Kelly. All right, let's not do that. Because I do feel like that's where some people are coming from with it. Not so much, oh, let's get at the parents, let's get at R. Kelly's staff. It's more so, well, you know, let's point the finger at them so that we can get the attention off R. Kelly. And I'm not quite sure why R. Kelly is such like worthy of protection for some reason. Like I don't know if he's had like a long history of advocacy for the black community or something like that. I'm not sure. If he has, feel free to enlighten me and post some information about that in the comments section. And also, I feel like some people kind of maybe turned on R. Kelly more so when the young black boy came out and said that he was a victim of R. Kelly. And I think they turned on him more so because it's like, oh, R. Kelly's a homosexual? Oh no, I can't support that. Versus, oh no, R. Kelly has claimed another victim? Oh no, I can't support that. Not so much that, right? But the R. Kelly verdict for people out there, especially black women, it does illustrate and provide a great example of how young black girls are treated and how they're also not treated, right? This is something that you really should be paying attention to, because, as sad to say, all black don't got your back. All right, sad to say it, but that's true. All black don't got your back. Not saying that every black person is against you, that you cannot trust anybody at all, but I'm just saying, when things go down and it's a black man's reputation and livelihood at stake versus a black woman or girl being the victim and try to take him to task on that, folks are going to defend the black man. All right, that's just what's been programmed into our community, unfortunately. Even if the black man is like wrong, like dead wrong, still, it's going to be some reason to come through and defend, right? Um, but some people brought up about perhaps saying R. Kelly is being mistreated vis-a-vis, like, say, white men who participate in similar acts. And I do find this argument to be interesting. I'm not saying that there's not any truth in the argument or anything like that, but I do find it that people low key are setting up that argument to be, well, like, in so many words, well, white men can do it, why can't we? Versus, well, if black men getting punished, then white men should be getting punished too. And I feel like the latter is what people should be advocating for, but I feel like they're actually more so advocating for the former, right? To just be able to do what these degenerate white men do. Like, as quiet as it's kept, these dudes want to have the privileges um, that are afforded to white men. And I don't think this is something that you should be advocating for exactly. I mean, there's definitely arguments about that and saying like, oh, well, comparing what black men do versus what white men do, and the privileges that white men may have versus black men. There's arguments about that, but I don't think this is one of those arguments that you should be taking up, and going on a crusade about. And I don't think really anyone's going on a crusade per se, but I think ultimately they kind of bring that up to deflect attention from R. Kelly, right? But really, it's really disturbing that I would even have to come on here and ask the question: is the R. Kelly verdict a win or a loss for the community? It should automatically be seen as a win for the community, because black girls are getting justice, at least, his victims, as well as, I suppose, the black boy too. We can include him. And that's the community, black boys and black girls are a part of the black community. So that would be essentially black boys and black girls, or at least one black boy, getting justice. Why would anyone be against that? Right? I wonder. But really, it's a shame that it even had to go on for this long. It's a shame that this situation came about because Lifetime did like a docu-series, I think it was called. I'm not sure exactly what type of a film genre that it falls into, but like a docu-series, an expose, a documentary, whatever you want to call it. Lifetime put that together. And it's a shame that it had to take Lifetime doing that to, spark outrage and to spark justice for these young black girls. And honestly, essentially, if you want to simplify it, basically, white folks stepped in and intervened, and this is why we were able to get the R. Kelly verdict. Because trust and believe, if this was left up to black people, if this was left up to the black community, right, R. Kelly would be out and about for another 20 to 30 years doing what he's doing, or doing what he was doing. All right. And R. Kelly like 50 years old, so he's gonna be like 80 years old, still doing the same thing to underage girls. He's gonna be an old man, still doing the same thing, unless some sort of ailment or disease or something incapacitates him. But yeah, that's a shame though, right? Yeah. And of course, we have black folks, both black men and black women, who want to jump up and defend R. Kelly. Oh, they trying to bring a brother down. They always trying to bring down the black man. Always trying to sell the black man's image. Oh, they jealous of the black man. They envious of the black man. Black is kind. Black is God. Right. And I'm not saying that there's no truth in that, but I'm like, at some point, it's like some folks, we gotta let them have them. Like some of these folks, it's just like, sorry, you were just a casualty in all this, but we gotta cut ties with you. Like some of these folks, we do have to cut ties with because they ain't no good for our community. Since you care so much about the community. And then, you got some black women out there who want to jump up and defend, because let's be real, black women were a part of this too. That's why, this is part of the reason why I do go in on like the Mammy Pick Me Meal types, because I do feel like when it comes to the R. Kelly types in the community, the R. Kelly types, part of the reason why they're able to get away with what they do and to do it for so long is because a lot of times, yeah, black men play a part in it too, definitely. But also the Mammy Pick Me Meal black women who want to turn a blind eye to it. When the children come up saying they've been touched on, or has some sort of a weird experience, in so many words. These same women will go into like predator protector mode and start trying to say that the kids are lying. Oh, you making things up. Oh, you better not say nothing. Keep that to yourself, right? And predator protector people are dangerous, all right? You should definitely want to purge those type of people from the community. They are no good. Yeah. And like I said, like, remember now, R. Kelly, like a black woman paid R. Kelly's bond. She ended up losing her money for some reason, so she can't even get her money back. And it serves her right. She should not have done that. But that is a good example of like a black woman jumping up to save a no good black man. A black man who has a long history of doing no good deeds to young black girls. She used to be a young black girl herself. She may even have daughters or granddaughters. But ultimately, she got what she deserved. She lost her money. So that's what you get for supporting degeneracy. And also, like, why didn't any of R. Kelly's homeboys bail him out, or any of these black dudes out here hooping and hollering so much for R. Kelly? Why did it have to take a black woman to come through and do that anyway? So really, in so many if you really think about it, some of these dudes, they only gonna support up to so much. They only gonna support they own like their own segment up and own group, but so much, right? They ain't putting their money where their mouth is. Now, a black woman put her money where her mouth was, though, right? And she came through and supported. So let's not say that black women don't be supporting black men, because they sure do. Whether they right or wrong, you gonna see some black women coming through and supporting. But yes, R. Kelly, he was found guilty on all counts. So I wonder, I think they're saying he's gonna be serving like 20 or 25 to life or something. Yeesh. Woo-wee. Maybe he can go through an appeals process or something and get that cut down with some good behavior, you know, some house arrest, some community service. But ooh, that's gonna be tough. Whew. But we'll see when it comes to the actual sentencing part, and if R. Kelly appeals and all that good stuff, though, or all that interesting stuff. No. But I'm gonna cut R. Kelly a little tiny bit of slack. And I'm gonna cut him some slack because I believe he himself was a victim of sexual abuse at one point or another. And I think the problem with him was perhaps he didn't get any sort of help for his situation at all. But he is the victim himself. So essentially, the victim, per his words, he had admitted to being, suffering some sort of sexual abuse of some kind through people in his family, and as well, I believe, perhaps maybe a neighbor, within the community he lived in as well. So, yeah, and they may try to bring that up to garner some sympathy as well during the sentencing process or either during the appeals process, what have you. But I think the problem with R. Kelly was that he didn't get any sort of help at all, and he just kept, you know, essentially perpetuating the same thing that he was a victim to. But yeah, so I guess that's all I gotta say for the moment, though. But let me know what you think about this in the comments section. What do you think about all this? Do you think that the community won? Do you think that this is a loss for black men's public image? I personally don't think so. I don't think this is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to the black man's public image. There's like a lot more things, we can point the finger at. So let's not try and point it at this situation and be like, oh, this is, they doing this to bring down the black man public image. No. Yeah. I've been a member since 1962. I know what I was talking about. They trying to bring down our black king's image. They're trying to make us think our black kings ain't everything in a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. They're trying to make us think our black man ain't nothing but a bag of stale Cheetos. Nuh-uh, not me. I ain't falling for it. I know it's my kind. Right? But long story short, I don't think this is going to be the thing that breaks down the black man's public image. I mean, there's a lot more things to be concerned about. There's a lot more things to be concerned about right now that, you could seriously put some genuine attention toward. But let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.